フレディ・フリーマン選手の劇的逆転サヨナラ満塁ホームランから一夜明け、第2戦へ期待の高まる現地ですが、下手すぎる一撃を食らったニューヨーク現地メディアはまだショックから立ち直れていないようです。意気消沈しまくっていて、さらに苦手意識の山本由伸投手が先発ということもあり、だいぶ元気がないようです。露骨すぎる元気のなさがアメリカらしさ全開だなと思いましたので、今日はニューヨークメディアの様子を翻訳してお届けいたします。このチャンネルでは日本人メジャーリーガーに関する現地放送局の様子を翻訳してお届けいたします。お見逃しのないよう今のうちにチャンネル登録をお願いいたします。
And here it is. This is the Yankee perspective on what happened yesterday. Kind of perfect copywriting skills there. We're getting on Halloween. Freddie's nightmare is how the Yankees saw it yesterday. So, we are going to talk about Flaherty and Cole and how good the starting pitching was in Game 1. But let's open our discussion this morning with the quick reaction from the 10th inning and what happened then.
Yeah, just electric. You watch how tough of a job these managers actually have. We sit on the couch, we Monday morning quarterback this stuff every day. When you were in that dugout trying to figure out who's best, it speeds up on you fast. Things got away. I'm sure Aaron Boone and these guys would like to have another crack at it. Which when you're playing the game best, you don't.
So there was a lot that got into the top of the 10th inning, but for our purpose, there was a lot to feel good about for the Yankees at that point. They'd already used some bullpen pieces, and we were all kind of wondering, sitting home watching, who's going to finish this thing in the bottom of the 10th inning.
Yeah, and here comes Cousins. And I think when you go back and you look at this inning unfold, you're going to want that Lux at bat back. You're going to want that Tommy.
Ever walk-off grand slam in World Series history, and Freddie Freeman's the hero. He's the leader in the MVP discussion. We'll talk about that, how one game can make for new chalk in that race. Let's talk about the decision, because as you mentioned already, it's really easy to armchair quarterback this. Nestor Cortez hadn't pitched in over 30 days. The first thing I thought of when he came out of the bullpen was, okay, Yankees are trying to get away with one here, and it just didn't work. 2 pitches, game over.
I try to put myself in Brad Ausmus and Aaron Boone's, Blake's in there as well, trying to make these decisions. I think he came in because he's multiple looks. Tim Hill's really a fastball look guy. He does have some deception, but I think when they saw Manaea handle Ohtani with the fastball riding up and away from him and the slider, I want to say that's why they brought Nestor in. I have no basis on this other than it's just my gut of Nestor does have good breaking balls, can drop down and give you that look, and he's got the fastball.
Yeah.
I think that's what truly why they brought him in. And here's where I think it went wrong. You heard Freddie Freeman on the postgame talk about he was watching Shohei's at-bats. Shohei and Freddie knew they were getting ready to face a lefty, and they were sitting over there watching. They were watching Shohei Ohtani's at-bats. Well, certainly Freddie Freeman watched the Shohei Ohtani at bat. He threw that fastball, where I think the huge mistake is they just went back to that fastball first pitch to Freddie instead of maybe flipping the breaking ball in there. Freddie saw it to Ohtani, was ready for it. You heard it in the postgame.
We've been talking about this for the past few hours here before the show even started, and you made the point that you felt like the Dodgers were ready for everybody out of the Yankees bullpen. They were prepared. It's not just, I'm going to look at the iPad right before I have my plate appearance. It felt like they were ready for everything out of that Yankee bullpen.
The Dodgers do as good of a job as anybody in baseball on prep. Guys standing in the right situations on defense. They are as prepared and use all of this to their advantage. I'm a little bit nervous if I'm a Yankee fan, just off the swings. When you saw the game kind of getting underway, those 2 starting pitchers were good. Their stuff was up after some days off. They were executing, and the swings looked like the guys hadn't played in 4 or 5 days. As the game went on, you saw better at-bats and better at-bats, guys kind of getting in the flow of it. When the Yankees went to their bullpen, after Cole, there was comfortable at-bat after comfortable at-bat. What I saw in that Cleveland series with the strikeouts weren't. You saw Weaver and Holmes getting balls hit hard, Conley ball off the wall. And so these swings right here scare me. And we were talking about having to come back and still win 4 games.
And in terms of what he's going to be seeing tonight, it's Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who has, not only a big fastball, but he can also spin it. He's also got that split. Rodon on the other side, and we can talk about each of these guys. I mean, give me your cliff notes on both, and then we have some extra intel on Rodon.
Well, I think Yamamoto has looked really good since that San Diego start. Game against the, backs against the wall, and you have to show up. He was worth every bit of the contract they paid him over just for those 5 innings. He was really good in Yankee Stadium earlier this year. He threw 7 shutout against this Yankee team. I know things are way different, but that's still a nice thing to go into this start. I think you're going to see him executing tonight. He's got a myriad of pitches, 4+ pitches. The split's going to play when he needs big outs. I expect him to give the Yankees fits.
Yeah, I kind of expect the same thing. And as far as what to expect out of Carlos Rodon, his strikeout numbers have been really eye-popping. He struck out 5 or more in 9 of his last 10, 6 or more in 6 of his last 10.
We saw Nestor start coming in the game, and I started going over, his pitches, and I watched his at-bats against Shohei. Not my own, I watched his at-bats against Shohei. When Shohei walks into the box, your back's against the wall. So in that situation, your back is going to be against the wall. So I wanted to see how he was going to attack Shohei. And it was cutters and sliders away with heaters up. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to look a little closer, which is not what I normally do. I'm trying to look out over and hit line drives at shortstop, but I was like, you know what, I'm going to be on time for this heater, I'm going to be on top of the heater, and I'm going to look a little closer so I don't swing
and I'm going to be the hero.
I wasn't thinking that. I was just trying to get a base hit to score those 2 runs, but I was just looking closer because I wanted to just be able to check off the cutter and slider away. And, he threw it right in the lane I was looking in, thankfully, but I was just trying to be on top of the heater and on time because I was getting a lot of heaters from, Weaver, and I was just missing them, and I just wanted to be on time and give myself the best chance. And, I had a plan and approach, and usually when you have those, good things happen.
There's so much to love about that. I mean, first of all, he was completely transparent about his process, which was awesome. He's humble. This guy's going to be in the Hall of Fame. And he's up there talking like he's just this pedestrian guy who flares balls over the shortstop hole. He can see and react to balls as well as, if not better than anybody. By the way, I don't think anybody can make a decision to swing later in an at-bat than Freddie Freeman and still do damage. I mean, he makes contact back here. I just love that sound. I love hearing a baseball guy talk about a moment like that.
Yeah, no, because you're a baseball guy and you understand how in the weeds these guys are, and you can go as deep as you want to pitch to a pitch because that's what the best in the world are doing. When they were sitting over there, Shohei was getting ready to face a lefty. They knew it, and I believe they had Shohei's at bats versus Nestor pulled up, and they both were watching that, knowing that Mookie Betts wasn't going to get a chance to swing the bat versus the righty. They knew lefty, so he was watching that Shohei at bat. And then remember when I said yesterday to Dave Stewart, and Stewart was going, I was trying to help these guys, and when I saw the batter starting to adjust to help with the pitch selection, that's what you do. A game plan is this. We're going to attack Matt Vasgersian like this. Then when we see you start to adjust to that, we start adjusting off of it. It's always this cat and mouse game. And this is what the best do. Freddie Freeman, as I mentioned earlier, saw that pitch to Shohei that got him out, that beat him a little bit, and you heard him. He said, I'm not going to get beat like that. I'm going to be on time and on top of the heater. He was looking for that pitch. It wasn't a terrible, terrible pitch. It wasn't as up as Nestor wanted, but it was in there. It was probably just a wrong one. If he flips a breaking ball in there and gets it at bat, probably goes a little bit different.
So what led up to that, of course, was the decision that the Yankees made to go to Nestor Cortez, which caught a lot of people by surprise. Aaron Boone, of course, was asked about it after the game. Let's listen to his post-game sound.
Just like the matchup, the reality is he's been throwing the ball really well the last few weeks as he's gotten ready for this. I knew with one out there it'd be tough to double up Shohei if Tim Hill gets him on the ground, and then Mookie behind him is a tough matchup there. So felt convicted with Nestor in that spot.
So I think, look, Boone, of course, made himself vulnerable by making that decision, and it blew up for the Yankees. It didn't work because Tim Hill had gotten some pretty big outs in the postseason so far, and Nestor hadn't pitched in 3.5 weeks. So it was a dice roll yesterday. And then the manager has to answer to that. I hate that he's getting killed for it because he played an instinct, he liked the matchup, and it didn't work. And you move on, right? I mean, what else?
No, that's all you can do. It's just you have to make some tough calls, and we talked about it earlier in the show. I want to put anybody who talks trash in the dugout and trying to watch these decisions go down and how hard they are. I understand everybody saying that Tim Hill should have been in the game. I agree and think that should have been. Could Nestor have gotten it done? Yes, he made a big pitch for Shohei, and he makes one more. We're not having this conversation. Like I said, I think it was just a better game plan by Freddie Freeman and ready for a certain pitch. I think Nestor could have thrown different pitches and got him out. Now, look, I would have put Tim Hill in the game too, just because of the experience. He's been in big games. in Cleveland, and he's just kind of in the flow, whereas Nestor been trying to get back. I applaud Nestor for being out there, wanting to be out there. And look, this series ain't over. Nestor's going to be back out there again and have to show up.
Yeah, you know what? And I was thinking about this immediately too yesterday from the Nestor perspective. Maybe I have like this thing with victims complex. Dude, you give up that. It's hard. It's got to be just. I would imagine he didn't sleep last night, man.
No.
I felt terrible for him yesterday. He hasn't pitched in 3.5 weeks. And right in the lane, as we heard Freddie say, he's looking inside. He eliminated the cutter. I don't know.
But if he's not looking inside, if he's looking to do what Freddie Freeman is always doing and hit the ball the other way, that's the where you need to go. You wanted to go a little bit farther up, and you saw that fastball to Shohei. Again, it beat Shohei just enough but you cannot do the same thing. These guys are all watching, making adjustments, and you see it's a game of inches. You make your pitch to Stanton, it's an out, and he swings and misses. You don't. We showed you yesterday.
Yeah.
It's homers. When you're talking about the best players in the world, every guy on this field is a baseball player so good you can't even wrap your head around it. And when you start putting these guys together like this, it's inches. It's decisions. It's who makes the chess move, who sets you up to do this. We hear it all the time.
And as far as the decision, because I know the Yankee fans were screaming last night. I was in a household of them yesterday who were screaming last night. What are they doing? What are they doing? When you look back at it, I don't want to sound like a strategy apologist here. Tim Hill does not have swing and miss. Period. He just doesn't, right? He might have been a better choice, and certainly looking back at the result, you can say that with certainty. But you could also see why the Yankees decided to roll the dice there with Nestor. It was a risk, high reward move, and it blew up in their face. That's all.
The Yankees don't have a left-hander that they're in love with to get these left-handers out. They don't have a left-hander with the power stuff that we've seen control the left-handers of the Dodgers. So it's mix and match. And look, like I said, I think Boone will learn from this. Tim Hill will get the next shot, and he'll be ready.
こんなにも露骨に元気なくなる番組って日本にありますかね。それでもやはりフリーマン選手、ひいては球団としての準備を称賛する姿勢は素晴らしいなと感じました。さあこの後はワールドシリーズ第2戦が始まります。山本由伸投手がどこまでの投球を見せてくれるのか、そして大谷翔平選手に1本は飛び出すのか、何より今日はどんな痺れる勝負を見せてくれるのか楽しみにしていきましょう。それでは次回の動画でお会いしましょう。さようなら。